بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Today we are going to talk about Macmillan Flying High 5. Macmillan Flying High 5. We are with the book of Macmillan Flying High 5, Unit 3, Developing Speaking. Our lesson is about speaking. So be ready to talk. Giving a presentation. درسنا عن طريقة العرض، طريقة الكلام. Okay, how to speak, how to talk. It's a presentation. Now I am giving a presentation. Open your book on page 35 or 34. Open your book on page 34. By the end of the lesson, we will get information about how to make notes in speaking, and how organize notes to justify opinions. Finally, more notes about speaking in IELTS tests. Okay, so 3 goals، 3 أهداف سوف نحققها بنهاية الدرس إن شاء الله، وهو getting information how to make notes, how to organize notes, and how to make notes, also notes about IELTS test. Okay, go ahead. Speaking now. Let us start. Ready? Let us start. Speaking, work with a partner. Look at the question. Look at the question now. Are top football players paid too much? Pay attention that this question is in the passive voice. In the passive. Are top football players paid too much? To answer this question, we want to make a presentation. أريدك أن تتعلم كيف تجاوب على هذا السؤال في طريقة presentation. Make notes of arguments to justify your opinion. لاحظ نريد أن نتعلم how to make notes. ملاحظات. Notes. Make notes of arguments. Why? To justify your opinion. Okay. إذن أول نقطة make notes in presentation. في العرض في الحديث you have to make notes. Why? To justify your opinion. لكي تبرر كلامك يجب أن تكتب ملاحظاتك حتى لا تنسى. Number 2, organize your notes. رتب. Organize your notes from 1, 2, 3 to the end. Organize your notes in a logical order. After that, add a short introduction, مقدمة, and conclusion. So these are important points when you want to talk about anything. Make notes. Why? To justify your opinion. Number 2, organize your notes. After that, you have to make introduction and conclusion. Pay attention to these points. Now listening. Listen to a student giving a presentation on this subject. Does he generally agree or disagree that top football players are paid too much? هل اللاعبين يتقاضون مبالغ عالية؟ نريد أن نتحدث عن هذا الموضوع. Does he use any of the arguments in your notes? Okay. Look at this. Look at this one. Okay, we want to listen now. We want to listen to a conversation. Listen again and again. Listen again and again. Okay, sorry. We want to listen now. Please listen. Please listen.
Unit 3. Developing Speaking. Exercise 3. I'd like to begin by saying that football is my favourite sport. I watch football matches on TV and I sometimes go to stadiums. So perhaps that is why I don't agree with the idea that football players are paid too much. Firstly, I think that the top people in any profession are always paid well For that reason, they are the top, the best. There are many football players who aren't paid that much because they are good, but not very good. Secondly, football players do an important job. They entertain people. They make them happy. They make them forget their problems. TV stars are similar to football players, but people don't complain about them. They are millionaires, but that is okay. Another thing is that some people say that there is too much football on TV, too much football in newspapers and magazines. But why? Why do football players appear on TV and in magazines all the time? Because they are popular and people are interested in them and the sport. Look at the case of David Beckham. He became more than just a football player. He became a star because people like his appearance, his personality. Why can't people like football players the same way that they like TV stars? To sum up, I don't think top football players are paid too much because, in my opinion, they do an important job and they do it well. But I do agree that top football players who are paid millions should not complain about being slaves or that they have a difficult life. A slave is somebody who has to do a terrible job that they don't like for no money. Top football players are not in this position.
Okay, we will listen again. We will listen again and try to make notes about what we have listened. Okay, we will listen again.
Unit 3. Developing speaking. Exercise 3. I'd like to begin by saying that football is my favourite sport. I watch football matches on TV and I sometimes go to stadiums. So perhaps that is why I don't agree with the idea that football players are paid too much. Firstly, I think that the top people in any profession are always paid well. For that reason, they are the top, the best. There are many football players who aren't paid that much because they are good, but not very good. Secondly, football players do an important job.
Okay, let's complete. Look at this section. It is about listening. We are going to listen once and twice and try to make notes to justify what we are going to say. Listen to a student giving a presentation on this subject. Does he generally agree or disagree that top football players are paid too much? Does he use any of the arguments in your notes? Okay. Look at this chart. We will listen and try to make tick to these words that are heard in the listening section. Okay, please, your pens, please, ready, and try to listen and make ticks to what you have heard. Listen, please.
Unit 3. Developing speaking. Exercise 3. I'd like to begin by saying that football is my favourite sport. I watch football matches on TV and I sometimes go to stadiums. So perhaps that is why I don't agree with the idea that football players are paid too much. Firstly, I think that the top people in any profession are always paid well. For that reason, they are the top, the best. There are many football players who aren't paid that much because they are good, but not very good. Secondly, football players do an important job. They entertain people. They make them happy. They make them forget their problems. TV stars are similar to football players, but people don't complain about them. They are millionaires, but that is okay. Another thing is that some people say that there is too much football on TV, too much football in newspapers and magazines. But why? Why do football players appear on TV and in magazines all the time? Because they are popular and people are interested in them and the sport. Look at the case of David Beckham. He became more than just a football player. He became a star because people like his appearance, his personality. Why can't people like football players the same way that they like TV stars? To sum up, I don't think top football players are paid too much because, in my opinion, they do an important job and they do it well. But I do agree that top football players who are paid millions should not complain about being slaves or that they have a difficult life. A slave is somebody who has to do a terrible job that they don't like for no money. Top football players are not in this position.
Okay, now we have heard a presentation about football players. سمعنا مقطع الاستماع ونريد أن نضع صح على العبارات التي وردت في المقطع. Okay. Number one. Did he use I'd like to begin by saying, or did he say I am going to talk about? In listening, did he say the first one or second one? The first one is said. I like to begin by saying. If you want to present anything, present any subject, try to use one of these two sentences. Number two, introduction argument. Did he use firstly, secondly, it's also true that, what's more, and so on. What did you hear in the listening? What did you hear? Firstly, we heard firstly. And what else? Secondly. Okay, in the listening, we used secondly. And what else? We used another thing is that. So if you want to speak, try to use this information. What else? Look at this case, or look at the case of. Look at the case of. We have heard this in the listening. What else? To sum up, to summarize. لكي أختم الكلام. إذا أردت أن تتحدث وتختم عباراتك استخدم هذه العبارة أو إحدى هذه العبارات. To sum up. ألخص. Okay. Is there anything else? Nothing, I think. So we have finished talking about the important points or phrases that must be used in presenting subject. Number 5 now. Speaking. Work with a partner. Put this stage of giving a presentation the correct order. Look at these and put them in the correct order from 1 to 7. Number 1, what do you think? Have a look and try to make a correct order. Try to make a correct order. Number 1, what do you think? What do you think? Number 1 is number 7. So the logical arrangement is number 7. Think of a short introduction and conclusion. Number 2, make notes with your ideas and arguments. Number 3, organize your notes in a logical way. Number 4, begin your presentation and look up at the audience. Number 5, during your talk, use your notes to remember what comes next about don't just read this, don't just read. Okay? And number 6, look at the question which you have to talk about. Number 7, finish your presentation at the right time. Pay attention to the time. So look at the arrangement or logical arrangement of the notes. Do you agree or disagree? Let's complete. let's complete. IELTS exam success. IELTS exam success. In exam في اختبار الآيلتس هناك قسم للspeaking. What other advice would you give to somebody who is about to take an IELTS speaking exam? ما هي نصائحك لمن يتقدم لاختبار الاستماع في الآيلتس؟ IELTS exam success page 75. هذه النوتس في صفحة 75. Speaking part 2 long term and long presentation. Try to read these and pay attention to them when you present speaking in IELTS. Look at them well. Read the instructions carefully as they listen to the points you should include in your talk. You have 1 minute to prepare. 1 minute to prepare. Make notes with information you want to give in your talk and use them when you are giving it. But don't just read notes aloud. Don't speak too fast. Don't speak too fast. If you speak too quickly, people will not follow you. Next, try to speak for exactly the right amount of time. The more you practice, the easier it will become. Use information to show that you are interested and to make others interested. Don't worry excessively about vocabulary. When you don't know a word, explain it or use a simple word. Don't let mistakes stop you from speaking. Correct your own mistakes if possible or start the sentence again, but don't stop completely. Okay, now we come to the end of presentation. I hope you get benefit from this notes. Your homework, واجبك هو prepare a presentation on this topic. How should sports players who are caught cheating be punished? هذا واجب لك. نريدك أن تقدم عرض باستخدام النقاط التي ذكرناها عن هذا الموضوع. هذا الواجب. شكرا لكم. أتمنى أن تكونوا استفدتم من الموضوع. Thank you very much and see you in another presentation. Goodbye.